not for you. Don't you dare to congregate, I'm right for you. Plastic faces everywhere, made just for you.
Again, Hollywood Horror Film Club, Ghostface and Michael Myers collectors. Thank you again for joining me this Friday on a new video. But before we start, please hit the like button, subscribe. It really helps the channel. Hit the bell notifications, be notified when I upload again. Hit the comments below and share these videos so we can keep making more horror content. So, in honor of it being Friday today, my favorite day of the week, I wanted to do this video on the scrapped sequel ideas for Friday the 13th 2009 remake. And that's one of my favorite movies, and I've been planning this video for a few days already. I think since like last week when like Christmas and all that stuff was going on, but I didn't get the chance to do it until this Friday. So yeah, let's move forward. Friday the 13th cut sequel plans make Jason Voorhees' 14-year absence even harder to accept. So yeah, there was apparently going to be a sequel to the 2009 remake, Friday the 13th. I really love that remake. It was like, honestly, dude, it was like one of the best, well done remakes of the 2000s remake era. I honestly think it was better than Rob Zombie's Halloween. Honestly, Jason was just brutal. Derek Mears, oh, dude, it was just an awesome movie. It was just an old school like camping, getting lost in the woods movie. It's a badass movie. I might watch it again tonight. Who knows if I don't do anything. But anyway, yeah, let's get on with this. So the 2009 reboot of Friday the 13th. Missed out on a sequel, making Jason Voorhees' absence even worse, as the opening scenes revealed is now known. Yeah, so apparently one of the directors or producers of the film released an unreleased idea, part of the sequel script, a part of the script for the sequel. Yeah, so apparently it would have featured a winter setting. I know how many people want to see that, you know? Jason in the snow, you know? It would have featured a winter setting and someone getting killed from all right, let's keep going. It says right here. Let me see. The 2009 Friday the 13th remake could have gotten a sequel, and the reveal of its opening scene makes Jason Voorhees' long absence even worse. The Friday the 13th franchise is one of the most popular and profitable ones in the horror genre, but it's also one of the most troubled ones. Since 2018, the Friday the 13th series has been involved in a complicated battle for the rights to its characters, which has prevented the franchise from expanding with new movies or even TV shows, when its last movie being made in the 2009 reboot. Yeah, dude, this franchise, I think even before 2018, there was already problems with Sean S. Cunningham and Victor Miller and the rights and stuff. They came together on an agreement for the reboot. The 2009 remake, directed by Marcus Nispel, Friday the 13th he says it's not a remake of the original movie by Sean S. Cunningham, and instead is a reimagining of the first 4 films, kind of like Rob Zombie's reimagining of Halloween. This means that grown-up Jason Voorhees with his iconic mask was the killer in this version, and of course, yeah, his mom was the killer in the original. The viewers, and of course it took viewers back to Crystal Lake. The Friday the 13th was a critical failure, but a box office success. Yeah, it made a lot of money, but it was still a critical failure. I remember that. I remember seeing the theater packed when I want to go see that movie. It was, dude, that was probably one of the best movies I've seen in theaters, like, to date. Probably the crowd was cheering and everything, blah, blah, blah. So let's see, it's a reimagining of the sequel, and then it takes you back to Crystal Lake. Critical failure, though it wasn't enough for the sequel to be greenlit, which is okay, here we go. We're starting to get to the sequel parts now. All right. It took viewers back to Crystal Lake. Friday the 13th was a critical failure, but a box office success, though that wasn't enough for the sequel to be greenlit, which is a real shame now that the opening scene for the sequel has been revealed. All right. So here we go. Scrap sequel plans for 2009's Friday the 13th. All right, so apparently, yeah, you guys remember the movie begins with Jason killing Whitney and her friends, and then and her brother goes to Crystal Lake a few weeks later, and then teams up with all those other kids that go to Crystal Lake. Remember that in the first movie? Blah blah. Okay, so the ending of Friday the 13th, 2009, yeah, it looked like there was going to be sequel right here. It says because of the ending. Uh the ending of Friday the 13th, 2009 made way for a sequel which even got a release date of August 13th, 2010. Yeah, I remember hearing that. I remember hearing that back when that movie came out that there was going to be a sequel and shit. And I remember hearing that date also back in the day. This is like 13, 14 years ago. So yeah, but at the end basically they're saying, you know how when Jason comes out of the dock after they supposedly killed him and throw him in the river, remember he comes out jumping, grabbing Whitney, and it just cuts to black. So yeah, so that pretty much left it open for a sequel, right? It was left on a cliffhanger ending. Um, Let me see what else. Um, yeah, and then 2010, but then it got canceled. First delayed, and then it got canceled. That's crazy. Um, okay, so in honor of Friday the 13th, 2023, this was like a few weeks ago, but I'm doing it now in honor of this Friday. Damian Shannon and Mark Swift shared the script pages of the opening of their canceled sequel. Just like the first movie, the sequel would have started with a big gruesome kill, most likely unrelated to the rest of the movie, just to set the tone for it. The scene set in the winter. All right, here we go. Okay. The scene set in the winter would have had Jason killing a young woman at Crystal Lake on the zip line. Yeah, you know those zip lines? They go fast as hell. And then Jason would have met her at the end of the zip line with the machete. That would have looked badass, right? Just Jason, just that would have looked badass. Just killing her with the machete and cutting into Friday the 13th to the title sequence or to the title card or whatever. Zip line, yeah, meeting her at the end. 2009's Friday the 13th had a more brutal Jason, and the sequel would have had pushed the first movie's boundaries, being bloodier and expanding more on this version of Jason. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were obviously, they were gonna go for that bigger, bloodier, gorier sequel thing. So yeah, I could already see that happening. And I wonder if they were gonna bring Whitney back and Jared Padalecki or Padelecki's character. I can't pronounce his name. If I butchered it, sorry. Yeah, I wonder if they were gonna bring him and his sister back in the story, or if it was gonna be a whole brand new just Friday the 13th story. No, that's interesting. It doesn't mention that. It just says that yeah, it left off like on a cliffhanger, kind of leaving it open for a sequel, but it doesn't mention them returning or anything. And then right here it says that the first kill of the movie would be a woman on a zip line in Crystal Lake during the winter. Was the winter thing just gonna be in the opening and then the rest is gonna take place in summer, or what? Or was the whole movie gonna take place during the winter? They don't expand on that either. But anyway, here's more. How Friday the 13th cut plans would have fulfilled a big franchise wish. Yeah, exactly what I said right now, the snow. Due to the main setting of Friday the 13th franchise being Camp Crystal Lake, none of the movies so far have been set in the winter. Some fan films have imagined what a Friday the 13th story would be like in the winter. Yeah, like don't hike in the snow and stuff like that. Would be like. So the sequel having its opening scene. Oh, you see? It was going to be in the opening scene. The whole winter setting was going to be in the opening scene. So it would be so the sequel having its opening scene set in the winter would have finally fulfilled a big franchise wish, even if the rest of the movie went back to a summer setting with the reopening of the camp. The idea of taking Friday the 13th and Jason Voorhees to a winter setting can still happen in any of the planned projects for the franchise, but first it's to be seen if any of them will truly move forward and who will be in charge of it, given the above mentioned, probably with the rights of the franchise and Jason Voorhees. Yeah, so like, yeah, they were gonna do the whole snow thing, but just in the opening scene. You see, and it just said right there in the article that the rest of the movie would have been like taking place during the summer, regular summertime. Also, what's crazy is like I keep wondering because it doesn't say anything. was this movie gonna like be before or after Friday the 13th, 2009? You know, most likely after, because you see Jason get his hockey mask. You know, but sorry about that. It doesn't mention any of the characters from the previous movie at all. I would at least like it if Whitney came back and her brother, you know, Jared's character. What was his name? Clay, her brother Clay. I would like it if at least them came back, and maybe one survivor from the 2009 remake massacre. Maybe the dude who got hit with the axe in the back, he could probably have survived, or the dude Chewy. Or I think he might have died. Though I say the dude who got hit with the axe at the kind of like towards the end of the movie when he goes to the shed looking for Chewie. Maybe at least just three survivors, you know. But I'd still be cool with just Clay and Whitney. Yeah, it sounds like it would have been an awesome movie. Yeah, I remember hearing about this like a few months after the remake came out back like 2009-ish or 2010-ish or something like that. Yeah, it's an awesome movie, and I would have loved to see the sequel. It would have been badass, right? Like honestly, when this came out, I honestly thought they were gonna like have new movies, like it was gonna be like a whole new trilogy or something at least, you know. But it didn't happen, dude. It's just always same thing, you know, with Scream 4. 2 years later, you wanted that sequel, right? But you still didn't get it. Damn. Yeah, and this would have been an awesome movie. It sounds like it was gonna be a lot of fun to make. I wonder, yeah, it says right here that the killings were probably gonna be like I guess unrelated, like from the opening kill when he kills the girl on the zip line. That was gonna be totally unrelated from the killings later, you know. So it was just gonna be an opening kill in the snow, which is awesome also, you know, because a lot of people do want to see Jason Voorhees in the snow, you know, because it works with him. It goes with them, yeah. And the like what goes on in Crystal Lake when it's not summertime, you know. That's an awesome movie. And I can't believe this is 14 years ago already. Like in a way, I feel like they could still do this movie. They could still make a sequel to this movie with Clay and Whitney still. You know, I feel like a sequel could still work even all these years later. Just say, oh yeah, they escaped. Like they when Jason's coming out of the dock, like grabbing his sister, he pulls her or something, and they run off back into the woods. But Jason's so hurt that he falls back in the water, and it could take place 14 years later. You know, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. You know, it was an awesome movie. I really like this movie a lot. Might watch it later tonight, and I'm pretty sad that we got robbed of another great movie that we could have had. You know, damn, dude, damn. Like with horror movies, it's always like a hit or miss, like basketball games and stuff. Like they make a good first one, especially for the remakes. Like they would get a good first movie, especially the ones that got a good first movie. They wouldn't get a second one though. Like damn, Rob Zombie's Halloween, he got lucky. He even got to make the second one. These guys didn't even get to make a sequel to Friday the 13th, 2009. Man, that sucks. But I know. We all would have loved to seen this film, but it didn't happen. But like I said, I feel like they could probably make a sequel still with Whitney and Clay taking place 14 years later or however long. They could go back to Crystal Lake or something, you know, or something like that, you know. You could see the old cabin of his friend again, you know, and like their friends as skeletons and shit. The police car where the chick got thrown on from the window. Oh, dude, that'd be cool. That'd be cool revisiting Friday the 13th. I really hope that they do the new TV show justice, you know. But from what I'm hearing, it's gonna start off, you know, as just Pamela raising Jason, you know, and I guess we're gonna evolve into Jason Voorhees with the hockey mask throughout the series. But let's see what happens. Anyway, thank you again, Hollywood Horror Film Club, for joining me on another video on this Friday. Always remember to like and subscribe, hit the bell notifications to be reminded when I upload new videos. Comment below and share these videos with your friends and everyone so we could keep making more horror content for y'all here. Thanks a lot.